Whether it's around the country or your town or county, decisions are being made every day that impact real people and real communities. Welcome to The Rural View, where we open the window for you to view Wisconsin farmers and rural residents and get a glimpse into the challenges they face.
Can you talk to us about your involvement with UW-Madison Collegiate Farm Bureau?
This coming year, I will be the president of the chapter. The past 2 years, I've been the vice president of the chapter as well. So I've been very involved, tried to do about everything I can in Collegiate Farm Bureau that I'm able to. Going to YFA conference, going on the trips that our club offers. As my roles as vice president, I've been in charge of planning those trips and study tours, and also getting speakers for our meetings. One of the big trips I helped plan was actually we went on a trip to Tennessee. It'd be a year ago this past March. We got to tour like agriculture and agribusinesses in Tennessee, which was really cool. And then in general, like this coming year for, I guess, president, I have basically I'll be leading the club as president, and I'm really looking forward to that and staying involved in Collegiate Farm Bureau.
Can you talk about some of the different activities that you do at Collegiate Farm Bureau? Specifically, I think you guys are unique in one of your fundraisers. So do you want to share about that?
Yeah, so one of our big fundraisers, we share it with Badger Dairy Club, is our cheese stand at World Dairy Expo. So we make a crazy amount of grilled cheese. I can't even think of the number off the top of my head right now, but it's a lot. And that's like one of our big fundraisers that allows us to go on these fun trips like Tennessee. And like that trip was very affordable for all our members, which would not be possible without stuff like that. And it allows us to have nice event venues and for us to afford to be able to go on fun trips like we do and do ag study tours. And just, it's very nice. Let's say that we're very fortunate to have that fundraiser, and we really appreciate the support we get from the agriculture industry when we do that.
Yeah, I think everybody at World Dairy gets a grilled cheese sandwich. If you're not going to World Dairy and getting a grilled cheese sandwich, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it's great that you guys can do that and just have that exposure to not only Wisconsin agriculture, but I mean, there's people coming from all over the world. So it's a really big opportunity for you guys. And you have a really great support system with businesses and donating cheese and all of that stuff. But I also know it's a lot of work. I've seen you guys a couple days into that, and you're all very tired. So
You get sick of eating grilled cheeses too by the end of the week also.
would you ever?
No,
Well,
it's a
just
good
a few
time.
weeks off.
Yeah. But it's a good time and a lot of fun doing it actually. But yeah, it's a lot of work though.
Can you talk a little bit about some of those additional funds, that you get from that fundraising, what you do with it besides those trips?
So some of it goes towards like we go to YFA and we do that at a reduced rate for our members so they can go to the Farm Bureau convention. We offer outstanding like class member awards for people that are active. So it's like a small scholarship we give to those people. Then in general, we do donate some of that or kind of to the community for things. So we do have ag in the classroom. So in Dane County, we do ag in the classroom. So we visit like elementary schools and teach that. We have a budget that goes towards that. And then we do ag day on the campus too at UW-Madison. So our ag day on campus looks a little different than the other chapters as we are in the city here in Madison. So we kind of treat it as an educational tool to help teach the community about agriculture and like spread the message of agriculture on our campus as well.
So what does Egg Day on campus look like?
So,
Just give people an idea of what the purpose of that is.
so we've kind of been experimenting how we should do it because we see what the other schools are doing and you can't exactly do the same thing. But the last couple of years, we've tried to like hand out agricultural products either on State Street or near the ag part of campus. As people are walking by, we try to stop them and say, hey, would you like this? And try to explain like why we're here, talking about agriculture and help spread those stories about like the sustainability of the industry and like our majors and like what we're trying to accomplish here in agriculture.
What is the interaction like with your fellow students at events like that?
The interaction with the public, it's kind of interesting because some people just grab the free whatever we hand out and they walk away, but other people start asking questions. And then you can have some very deep conversations with those people. Then the student interaction between us students involved, it's a lot of fun because we get to know each other better and learn more about each other and get closer, I would say.
Yeah, if it's free for me, anybody will take something for nothing.
Exactly.
So I guess along the lines with your Collegiate Farm Bureau, can you talk about why you decided to, probably start off running as vice president and then now as president?
So I think the biggest thing I should start off why I joined maybe Collegiate Farm Bureau. So I remember I was a freshman back in the day. I remember there's a lot of different clubs people are involved in, and I live at AGR House in Madison, so it's the agriculture fraternity in Madison. So I remember every night of the week there's almost there's a car going somewhere for a meeting or some event, and they told me, "Hey, you should come to this." So I came, and I didn't know really I'd get that involved. I remember what really I think got me involved was we had the local collegiate discussion meet, and they were looking for people to do that. Well, I said I wasn't going to do it. And I had another meeting that night. Well, they ended up being short of people to do the discussion meet. So they're like, "Hey, you did speaking contests while you were at FFA. Come on, just help us out. You don't have to, you won't advance to the next section. We just need people so we can have a debate." And I ended up doing that, and I did very well, even though I couldn't move on. And the judges that judged that were very impressed. Were like, "Hey, you need to get involved in this, and Farm Bureau." And then I eventually ran for an officer position. People nominated me, and then I became vice president. I felt like I got thrown into it, but it all worked out. And then I was
Voluntold?
kind of voluntold a little bit, but I did that my sophomore year. Then I reran again as vice president this past year for my junior year. And since everyone must have thought I did a great job. I ran again for president, and I got that. And really looking forward to still being involved with that.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a big deal. I was just gonna ask, what was your involvement with Farm Bureau before college? Did you interact at all with Farm Bureau prior to Collegiate Farm Bureau?
A little bit. So my parents have been Farm Bureau members my whole life. They weren't really involved, I would say, more just so they can get insurance for rural mutual insurance was kind of the more reason we were a member. But I remember too for Dodge County, I was always involved I was involved big in 4-H, and they do a stand like in conjunction with the 4-H club. So I would always help every summer in the Farm Bureau stand working there. Otherwise, I was not that heavily involved just because my parents weren't that involved. But I feel like now that I'm more involved in college, it's going to lead me to become more involved in that going forward once I graduate.
Well, that's the hope.
Yes.
That's the plan. And I would be more than willing to bet that Mr. Schultz, who's the president of the Dodge County Farm Bureau, would be very happy to see some young people involved. I was lucky enough, I just went up to their fish fry and chicken fundraiser here, well, Good Friday. And just an awesome way to bring the community in, and it's a great fundraiser for them. So there's a lot of food aspect in Farm Bureau and fundraising. So you'll fit right in. Maybe you could
Yeah.
bring cheese and grilled cheese up there.
Yeah. And I know Doug very well, so I know, and he has my phone number, so I know I will be.
What are some things that you want to do this year as president? You guys have a very well-established chapter, but what are some things that you really wanna focus on as you head into this year?
So I think some of the biggest things we're looking at, that spring trip I mentioned earlier, we do that every other year, and we flip flop with Badger Dairy Club. So it's our turn this year. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to, figuring out where we're going to go in the country for that. In general, I'd like to increase our membership. We have a large membership, about 70 members. If we could increase that more, there's a lot of people that I know involved in agriculture majors on campus that do not come to our meetings, and it'd be nice to see more involvement. In general, too, more people coming to YFA. We bring a large group already. Our numbers were down this year compared to the previous years doing that. And then just trying new things. I always said I'm open to anything that the membership offers to me, like as an idea that our club should do. So we'll see what comes up this year. I'm hoping to put out we have a end of the year survey that we always put out for our group. So I'm looking forward to see what our responses are, what we can do better, and what's some things we can try this year.
I'm sure with any organization, not just county farm bureaus, but collegiate farm bureaus, is trying to get those people involved and in the door. And I think just how you got involved is probably going to be your easiest way, because as we've found, most people, once they're asked, to do something are more than willing to do it. They just need to be asked or brought along. Can you talk a little bit about some other organizations or other things that you're doing on campus outside of Farm Bureau?
Yeah, so I'm a very busy person when I'm not in the classroom. So I'm also involved in the Badger Crops Club. So it's kind of the agronomy club for the campus. I'm the president, I think I just mentioned, but that's kind of that club's kind of geared towards more like we do a couple like agronomy tours, have speakers come in, similar kind of what we do with Farm Bureau. But then on top of it, there's a crops judging team or like crops contest. We call it, we don't really judge anything. It's more of like a knowledge based contest. So we go across the country doing contests. So I was in Salt Lake City and West Lafayette, Indiana this past year. So we do that, compete against other schools such as River Falls and Platteville. So that's kind of where some of the competition comes there. But I'm in that. I'm also on the quarter scale tractor team. So that's a very fun contest. So basically what we do is we design and build a tractor from scratch. It's a quarter scale tractor, so it's not a full size, but they give us a lawnmower engine and a set of tires, and then we got to design and build it. And we
Wow.
then take to a contest in Central Illinois. It's like the weekend after Memorial Day when we pull it. And there's a lot of other test things like the maneuverability and stuff. It's more geared towards engineers, but I kind of enjoy fabricating stuff and growing up on the farm doing mechanic stuff. So I really enjoy doing that contest. And then one more thing, I'm also, like, again, I mentioned I was in AGR. I'm also involved in Alpha Gamma Rho. I live in the fraternity house in Madison, so that gives me a lot of fun things to do on the side as well and meet a lot of cool people.
Yeah, that'll be a membership for lifetime.
Yep.
I was going to ask about that we're heading into summer here. I know that you have a pretty cool internship. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I'm working for Inside FS this summer. My technical title is a precision technology intern. So I'm working out of their Jefferson location this year. Not 100% sure exactly what they're going to have me all doing, but they've been trying to put,
Other duties as assigned.
yes,
Yeah.
but last year I was a agronomy intern, so I did like crop scouting and did scouting actually at Jib's farm. But this summer, I know they're trying to push technology things more with growers, so I think they're trying to bring someone in that's experienced some of this stuff in school. And then they have like a new app FS is using, so I think they're trying to push more of that stuff, and that's kind of what my role will involve this summer, along with I think I'm doing some like data cleaning and other things involved with precision ag and the data side of it as well.
That sounds like fun. Do you get your own truck? That's number one
Yes,
thing. Oh, good.
yes, I do. Yep, I did last summer too, which was very nice.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, especially with the amount of miles you'll be putting on. Inside
Mhm.
FS covers a lot of ground.
I put on 10,000 miles last year with my work truck last summer, so we'll see what this summer brings.
So in that realm, since you did this last year too, what's your favorite part about this? Is it engaging with the farmers? Is it more the tech side? Like, what really makes you excited about this opportunity?
I think you said both of them right there. So technology, I'm kind of, since I'm younger, I don't know, that kind of just interests me more, I think. It's cool what they're bringing out, like how we're diagnosing problems in the field. So like one of the big things FS is doing with their app is they have like, they're scanning fields with drones and like putting that information into the app that they offer. So you can see like areas of the field that are not doing so well. Can we improve on? It's giving yield estimates and stuff, which I think is really cool. And then the other side is the farmers. When I was out in the field, most of the time you didn't see a lot of the growers either. Maybe they're at work that day or just not around. So, but one of the times I did get to interact with them, it's really cool hearing their stories and kind of just learning about their operations and seeing how we can help them and explaining things I'm seeing in the field to them.
We talked a little bit at Council of Presidents, and I think that's probably what you would have liked to seen more is more of the farmers and the customers and kind of interacted with them a little bit. I mean, you were here and I didn't even know it, so.
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't hear anything bad, so my corn must have been standing.
Your stuff
So
looked good then.
Oh, good. Well, hopefully you'll be able to come out this year.
Yeah, I'll have to see. I'm out of Jefferson this year, so won't be over that way as much, but should be able to be over there.
Well, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting perspective, though, as someone who's young, who's going to be headed out into the industry and also trying to farm part time. What do you see as the biggest challenges for people your age and even coming up after you? What are your thoughts on that?
I think the biggest thing is like some of the opportunities like that are available to some people, even for me. Figuring out how the family farm, how that's going to continue and like work out because I have a bunch of uncles involved in the operation that own stuff like land and stuff. Figuring out how we can make a transition work is the other thing because there's a lot of tough conversations that have to happen. And two, stuff is very expensive, land, equipment, stuff like that. People my age that don't have any capital to afford that stuff, it's very difficult. And on top of it, commodity prices are not that great. It's just all around a tough thing to get into. But the issue is we need people like that to go into that field. So trying to find the right people that can make it work on both ends, the people that are retiring and then people like me that are coming into it, figuring out how we can make things work and pass this stuff on and continue it without like breaking the bank and making things work.
Yeah, or, having troubles in the family because somebody thought of this, or it's
Exactly.
it's farm transition is a big item, not only at your farm, but many other farms across the state and across the country.
What does your membership look like as far as challenges go? Are they seeing the same type of stuff, whether they're going into agribusiness or going back to a farm? Like, what are some of the challenges across your membership in Collegiate Farm Bureau? Are they all seeing the same challenges?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the person what they're going into. The beauty I think of our club compared to other clubs at our campus, we have a wide range of majors. We have every ag major you can think of, where the other clubs are more geared towards the specific major that club's associated with. So we have people going to ag business, dairy science, agronomy, animal science, agricultural engineering. So they have everyone's got very different backgrounds and what they're going into. Some going in the farm, going back to the farm, they say, hey, like, I think things seem good and they're trying to find places and make that transition work. Other ones are maybe it's going to be a difficulty. And then there's a lot of our membership that don't come from farms that maybe would be interested or they're just going into industry. So ones going to industry obviously aren't seeing these impacts, but they're aware of them and the potential issues that may come up down the road as this moves forward.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with the diversity that Farm Bureau brings. And I think that is something that's so cool that you're even seeing that at the collegiate level that, we have all these commodity clubs, right? Or these niche clubs, but that's Farm Bureau's purpose is to bring people from all different facets of agriculture together. So that's kind of cool that that's also reflective at the collegiate level. And then a follow up to those members that are not coming from the farm. What are the conversations like that? Are you trying to get them out on farms? Is that something you're actively trying to do? Or how do those members find their way?
So it's very interesting because there's some members like maybe they didn't come from a farm, but they did come from a rural area, so they understand agriculture or their parents grew up on farms, so they do understand that. But there's some members that we have a few members that have not seen a farm really know what's going on, but they're interested in it. Maybe they're majoring in something like related to like animal science or whatever. We have a lot of animal science pre-vet majors that we sometimes get that don't come from farms, but through the College of Ag and Life Sciences, they hear about us and they're like, "Oh, this is kind of interesting." Learn more about ag policy and stuff like that because that does affect them. So there's a lot of conversations like when we do these ag study tours, like 2 weeks ago, we actually went to a Wysocki potato farm, the Central Sands, and some of those people had never been on that type of farm before. So they really want to be involved and learn more about the industry by doing things like that. And then just by being in the club, hearing our stories as people that are involved directly in agriculture, like what it entails and like the issues that we're facing on our farms.
That's such a cool perspective. And I would be interested in if you guys have more discussions about that, urban rural divide that we hear so much about. Like, do you guys talk about that often because of your membership makeup or not so much?
A little bit from like it'd be nice if we had more discussions like that from like an ag policy side at our meetings. We do the collegiate discussion meeting. That was actually what the discussion was about urban sprawl on like agricultural land. So there is discussions and it's talked about. I wish it was a little bit more at the collegiate level because maybe it'd get people more interested in ag policy and careers in that, especially, and maybe even get more involved in Farm Bureau down the line and like be involved in making these decisions.
Couple of things, I guess, along those lines. How is it being a farm kid in the middle of Madison?
It's interesting, I'll tell you that. I don't look like most. I don't dress like the average kid that walks down the street in Madison. They're wearing cowboy boots or always got jeans, have a ball cap on. So I don't dress like the average student in Madison, but it's good. I have a community since I live in AGR of like-minded people that are interested in the same things. That helps. I lived there since freshman year. If I lived in the dorms, I don't know if I would have liked that as much, having very different perspectives of a lot of different people, which most have never even seen a farm before. So I thought I wouldn't like it, but I actually do enjoy it. Like I said, the biggest thing is having a community of people that I'm with that are like-minded coming to Madison, which I think scares a lot of people away from coming here that are from rural and ag backgrounds. I always say we're just a small community. When I add up the people that are in AGR and AWA, there's about 150, 200 of us, but we all know each other very close. We're all in the same clubs, and that's what makes it enjoyable. I do go home, though, most weekends because sometimes the city gets a little bit too much and I need to be back on the farm, but it's not that bad, and it's a good break once in a while, be able to socialize and be able to do some of these fun clubs that I'm in.
And that's nice being able to be close to home.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any stories to share about interacting with those who don't necessarily understand agriculture?
Yeah, obviously most of my classes are like ag related, but I had some gen eds where you meet some people, especially in your discussion sections. Remember, I had one guy in my calculus class I took freshman year, and I still once in a while I see him on the street and talk to him. I think he was from the suburbs of like St. Paul, Minneapolis area, and he had a lot of questions because it's like, oh yeah, I'm going home, I'm doing this weekend. He's like, oh, I'm stuck here. I don't know if he's gonna watch a movie or something, and I had a it's like, yeah, we're harvesting corn, we're combining corn right now, going home helping with that. So creates interesting conversations. Like if you just ask, hey, what are you doing this weekend? And explain it. Because you have a lot of questions like, oh, why do you do this? And then there's some misconceptions too. And it's like, well, this is actually how we do it and like why we do it this way. And I wish more people would like ask questions because sometimes they look at you, like I said, don't dress like the average Madison student. So they say like, oh, he's some farm kid. There's probably a lot of stereotypes, but if they came up and talked to me, I could gladly talk about like my story and what's like why I'm studying what I am. I remember too when I had orientation, you go around the room, everyone asks what's your major is. I'd say agronomy. I'd say 90% of the room that had never heard the word agronomy before. So again, it starts a conversation. This is what I'm studying and like explain like what it is and like why it's important in the world.
Yeah, I bet you get an awful lot of interesting people, I'll say. But and don't be afraid. It might be when I was at River Falls, I was far from home. And so I used to go home with my roommate. And that was how it got me through school is being able to not, because River Falls is a suitcase college. I mean, it's Monday through Friday and everybody goes home. So I understand that. And it makes a world of difference to be able to break that schooling apart like that.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that when you have the conversations with those who don't understand agriculture, if you can get them engaged in a conversation, is it usually positive?
Oh, yes. I don't think I've had one conversation where it isn't because I think the biggest thing is that they just don't understand.
Right.
And then because of that not understanding, that's when assumptions get made. And we all know what happens
Absolutely.
when you make assumptions. So
Yeah.
so
Things we can't say on the podcast.
yes.
No, I would say the same thing because I went to a non-agriculture school, and even though we had a lot of, again, rural kids, you know, I think that if you can engage in a conversation, I mean, that's where the magic happens, and that's where we see a lot of conversations break down because they never start. So, I think it's so cool that you guys have that opportunity, and hopefully you guys do see it as an opportunity because it really is. You are in a very unique position to make a big impact.
And it's great that you can be a resource like that, and that's how the Collegiate Farm Bureau can help you with that. I guess going back again to Collegiate Farm Bureau, I mean, you started out as vice president for 2 years and now president. what do you have in the lineup for officers and people coming up to take your place in another year?
So it's kind of interesting. The last 2 years, like when I was vice president, our officers team was pretty much the same. But a lot of those individuals graduated or decided not to rerun for a position this past year. So I almost have a completely fresh officer team that I did not work with before that I'm going to be in charge of. I have a couple prospects for who I can nudge to take my role once I graduate a year from now. But we'll have to see this next year, see who steps up to the plate and wants to become involved, and kind of be a example of what Farm Bureau is about, and do a good job not only leading our membership but sharing that message of agriculture on our campus.
What would you say has been like your biggest takeaways? And this could be Farm Bureau related or just school related as you know, are at the opposite end of your college career. Reflection kind of happens. So what would you say is some of your biggest takeaways?
I'd say one of the big ones is make as many connections as possible and talk with as many people. Like I always say, you never know who you're going to meet or who you're going to work with someday. I haven't There hasn't been like a full circle moment like that yet where it's like, oh, I met this person. Now it's like, now I'm involved in this. I don't think I've said I've had that yet, but I guarantee I will someday. So I try to make sure, like, if I go to an event, whether it's a national event or even on campus, try to have conversations with everyone and try to meet as many people as I can. Another thing is one of my professors always says, grades don't matter as much as you think they do. And there's a lot of hard classes here. And it's kind of eye-opening because I was a straight A student in high school. And I still get very good grades here at school, but now it's like, these are some
You gotta
hard
work
classes.
harder.
Yeah, you go
Yeah.
work for it.
Yeah. These are some
Especially
hard
when you're
classes.
paying for it, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And you find out that everyone here, like, as my one of our professors too, you find out when you come here, everyone's smart now because everyone's trying to work hard. And so that was kind of eye-opening when I came here. But another takeaway I would say is get involved as much as you can. Sometimes I think I stressed myself a little bit, got too involved in things. I've kind of stepped back and made sure I started just being involved in the things I really enjoy, such as Collegiate Farm Bureau. But being involved in a lot of different organizations has allowed me just to kind of diversify, get the most out of my college experience, and just get all the different perspectives. And then, too, all the organizations allowed me to travel. I never really went on vacation much growing up just because we had the farm a little bit, and just we were always busy. My mom and dad like to work hard, and they're always working and busy. So never really went on vacation, but doing this, I've had opportunity to travel in many different states, which I would not have had if I was not involved in these organizations and gone to college. So
I also feel like we should, for anyone listening who either has kids attending our egg schools, UW River Falls, Platteville, or Madison, or if someone's looking at attending those, why get involved in Collegiate Farm Bureau?
I'd say number one I like to point out is we're very, like, for kids that were like active in FFA, it's a very good transition. Again, it's all like-minded people in agriculture. We do similar things that you might have done when you're in FFA. Well, I always said the biggest thing is we're kind of a social club too. Yes, we deal with ag policy stuff, but it's also a social club. You get to meet people and network with people that you would not have if you don't join. And then, like we said earlier, it's such a diverse group. You learn a lot of different perspectives, not only about agriculture that maybe can help you in your own field, but again, just learn more about the agriculture industry as a whole.
Nice. I feel like we had to give you an opportunity to just pitch it.
It's
What else?
awesome.
You got anything else, Jim?
So what are you thinking about after you graduate?
We touched on it a little bit earlier, but again, I'm not 100% sure. I wish I knew. Again, I'm working for Inside FS, so maybe that might turn into a career afterwards. But again, I'd like to stay in agronomy. I really like the plant side of things. I do enjoy raising cattle, but I don't know, plants don't kick back. So it's kind of nice. But I'm like, plants kind of fascinate me a little bit and really enjoy that. And again, like working with farmers as well. So being an agronomist is kind of my ultimate goal. Then again, I'd like to still be involved in the farm as much as possible, doing that on the side. But we'll see a year from now. I'll have a very different answer, hopefully a year from now, exactly what I'm doing.
Well, yeah, you also have to remember that cows don't talk back like customers.
That too. Yeah.
There's give and take in everything.
Yeah, there is.
Pros and cons for sure. All right. Well, I think that's all the questions I have. Are we ready to do the quick fire, Jim?
Of course. Of course. I have to look at my list here.
I know. I have to get them ready too. You want to start or do you want me to?
You can go ahead.
All right. Well, this is a softball question. Chocolate milk or white milk?
Probably chocolate milk.
All right.
All right. Next question. Red or green tractors at home?
Green tractors.
All
Nice.
right.
We actually have a little bit of a rainbow. All our tractors are green, but we got New Holland equipment. We have one red tractor, but mostly green.
I just love this question because they always come in so confident. And then if you pause, they're like, well, we might like more than one kind.
It's whoever comes and fix it.
Yeah. My dad was a New Holland mechanic right when he graduated from high school. So that's why we have all New Holland hay equipment. But otherwise,
Sure.
we mostly have John Deere tractors.
Nice.
Fair. All right. Spring semester or fall semester? What do you prefer?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Never really thought about this question. I would say fall. The reason I say that is because one, we have Dairy Expo, so that's a lot of fun to work at. But then two, there's just other events. And then two, I always like winter break right after. There's something about winter break that's always nice. And I associate that more with the fall semester. But there's just fun activities like YFA. And then two, you get to meet all the new incoming freshmen. And then it's a new year. So I'll say fall.
All right.
What about what's your favorite class?
That's another good one. The favorite, I don't have one this semester that I would say is my favorite, but favorite class I've taken so far, I would say is probably my plant nutrition. It was agronomy 326. So there was a lot of great information I learned in that class. Probably one of my better classes I've taken in my college career.
All right. What is your favorite sports team?
I'd like to say the Badgers, but we haven't been doing so hot.
I was going to say the background. I mean, it just screams Badgers. So I was going to test.
I'll
it
say
to
the
see.
Badgers because just we have such a wide variety. Our hockey teams are doing great. But actually, I got really into Badger hockey a little bit when I started college. Wasn't really a hockey fan at all, so I'll say like Badger hockey. But
And you can have more than one favorite. I mean,
yeah, I'm a big Wisconsin sports person. Like Brewers, Badgers, Packers, all of them. But I'll say the Badgers my favorite.
Probably best pick.
And that's to be obvious, but
right. That's because you have money invested into Badgers.
Yes.
So along those lines, what's your favorite Farm Bureau event?
I would probably say YFA conference. It's a lot of fun because, again, you get to network with the other college students and other people in YFA. Then, two, we just bring a big group and have a good time.
Nice.
Awesome. All right. Well, you made it through. That was our quick fire round of questions. But just really want to say thanks for joining us today on the podcast. It's been fun. We've never had a collegiate member on before. So thanks for being the first one. Hopefully we were pretty kind to you and others might want to join us as well. And best of luck with your next year coming up as president and keep up the good work. You guys do a really great job. All of our collegiate chapters do a phenomenal job and just keep going, keep it up because we need you as our future advocates. You're a really important role to the future of agriculture.
Yep. Thank you. Well, I enjoyed the podcast today.
Yeah. And make sure you tell all your friends.
Make sure you tell everybody.
I will.
Jinx.
We're going to hold you to that. There better be posters all over campus, Brandon.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah,
Okay.
We need all the viewers we can get. Amy says otherwise I'm going to get fired.
That's not true. Do not spread those rumors. It's a joint effort of promotion, Jim.
Okay. Well, that's what she told the board last week.
That is not true either. I feel like
actually,
we're gonna have
that's
to have
what I said.
With Jim.
Yeah, actually, that was what I said.
Okay, I'm cutting us off. We're gonna wrap for today. Anything
Brandon,
else, Jim?
I hope to see you out at the farm here this summer, and if not, I'll have to call up to the Jefferson office and say that I need some precision planting information.
Yeah, you can call Parker too. He could probably pull some strings, or Jensen.
I got his number. Jensen was here this morning, so I signed him up for Farm Bureau.
Really?
Attaboy. It's just what we need. Also, you should carry memberships around with you, Brandon. If we can task you with one more thing.
Then.
Yeah.
Jim will probably get you commission or something.
Well, you get $20 for everybody you sign up because you're an Inside FS employee.
Really?
There you go. Talk
Good
to Jim.
Know.
He'll work out a deal with you. I'm sure you can find something for membership recruitment to work in.
That's right.
All right. Well, we're going to sign off. Thanks again.
Thanks for coming on.
Become a voice for agriculture. Applications are now open for Wisconsin Farm Bureau's Leadership Institute, a year-long premier training course with the mission of developing strong County Farm Bureau leaders. Applications close on June 15th and are available in our show notes.